So yesterday I recorded a video, but I didn't really like it. The energy of it was just kind of off. And to be quite frank, I was doing a lot of things on that video that I normally don't do, like making predictions. I was saying that, yeah, the Lakers are going to get swept. It doesn't really matter what happens. I was going to talk about how Shea hadn't had a good game this entire series at this point, and that if Shea has a good game and it's close, that's going to dilute a lot of people into thinking that the Lakers were in a situation where they could have won the series at any point in time, or if Luka was back, they probably could have did something better. Like, no, like if I'm gonna give you guys that cope and bail that like a healthy Luka would have helped you win the series, I'm also gonna give the Thunder the benefit of the doubt. Like if they had Jalen Williams in that situation, they would have won the series. I think that the Lakers losing the series is very interesting because it means I don't know what it means for them going forward. LeBron is no longer under contract. Austin Reeves is looking for an extension. Luke is on a good deal for a long time, and the birds are chirping like crazy outside for whatever reason. But yeah, that's interesting. And then I'm looking over at the Sixers, and they're getting swept. And it's a little bit different for them for a multitude of reasons, really. I don't really know how you could put it into words what's going on with the Sixers without like it seeming crazy, right? Because truthfully, if the Sixers just had either of the two players show up in that series, Tyrese Maxey underperformed a lot in that series. I don't think it can be understated, especially considering how well he performed against Derek White, who I look, there's no Derek White on the Knicks, right? There just isn't. And I know Derek White is a better team defender than he is a one-on-one defender, but you got to think about this. Jalen Brunson is on the court a lot of the time. Deuce McBride touched the floor a lot. Jordan Clarkson was touching the floor. Jose Alvarado was touching the floor. A lot of guys, small guards, that just shouldn't be able to guard Tyrese Maxey. He should have been able to give every single one of those guys that I just mentioned at least 4 points, or at least a foul that would get them to the free throw line. Like, all of those guys should not be able to guard Tyrese Maxey. And in combination with the fact that the bigs were going to be in foul trouble the entire series when every time Joel Embiid played, and them getting down in the floor into the paint, I didn't think that they could really realistically get swept in this series. I thought surely they would win one of the games. I'm not sure what they're going to do moving forward, to be quite honest. And it's really complex and interesting what this team can do, right? For one, this team just bleeds talent constantly. Julian Champagnie, a core piece of the Spurs roster right now, who I'm going to talk about a little bit later, he would not be on this team if they didn't try to sign Max McClung for the dunk contest and have him wear the Sixers jersey. They've lost out on so much talent throughout the years, just giving it away. Not to mention what they just traded Jared McCain for. That was stupid. There's been tons and tons of mismanagement from this Sixers core as a whole, and it hasn't just been it wasn't just in the Elton Brand era. It's in the I can't remember that fat bastard from Daryl Morey, the Daryl Morey era as well. It's hard to be a Sixers fan right now. But to be fair, you did eliminate Boston, which kudos. No one expected that. You were a play-in team. You were the 7th seed. I can't believe that you even made it that far, to be honest. I'm glad that you did everything that you did. So the Sixers' future is a little bit less complex than the others. They have a lot of guys under contract, which is easier for that. The Lakers do not. But that's not what we were supposed to be talking about today. We got to talk about the most bipolar team in basketball history. The only team that I know that can give me a heart attack more than the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jesus Christ, I hate this team. All right. The series is tied 2-2, and going into this game, I was just sitting there like, well, they're going to go down 3-1, and I'm just going to start coping for the offseason and be like, yep, we're going to make some moves to get us under the salary cap. We'll probably move off of James Harden. And then James Harden had a good game, and I was like, huh, all right. 24-11 from James. That's cool, but I don't think anyone is under any illusion that going into half, right? Going into half, the Cavaliers are down a single point, a single possession. And Donovan Mitchell, up until this point, has just had a dog shit game. I'm just sitting there like, any day now. Has 4 points going into the second half. Do you want to know what he finished the game with? 43 points. He had the most points, and he's tied with the most points in the second half of a playoff game. So Donovan Mitchell went ballistic, and but Donovan had a good game previously, and that was still a pretty close game. So, and you look at the final score of this game, and you were thinking to yourself, well, that was huge. I mean, that's crazy, but like the final score says it was a much closer game. Yeah, the Cavaliers went on a 21-0 run, and then they extended it for quite some time. And the only person that was making buckets for this team in the entire for the entire second half was Paul Reed. And I love Paul Reed. Paul Reed is a great player. He's a great energy guy off the bench. If Paul Reed is the only one giving you offensive productions, that is a problem. Cade Cunningham had a dog shit game, and I do not want it to be brushed under the rug, because I do not want Donovan Mitchell's dog shit games in fucking Detroit to be brushed under the rug. I mean, I've been critical of James Harden. Very, very critical of James Harden. But, hey, Jalen Duren, what's going on? At least with him, he's getting to the free throw line. What do you do for your team? It's just been nothing. It hasn't just been nothing for like 5 seconds. It's been nothing for a while. And I just don't know how you can get into the situation with this guy and have expectations for him in a contract year to make any money. He has been awful. And their second best player has been Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has done a lot for this team. The difficult shot making was super annoying last night, and every single shot that he took just felt like it was going to go in. And even the shots that didn't go in, I just had to hold my breath preparing for them to go in. I'm sorry if you heard that music. I don't know what the heck that was, but regardless, this team just kept finding new ways to just miss shots. And Dennis Jenkins was bad last night. Asar Thompson was in foul trouble. It's not going to get talked about because, like, frankly, it didn't matter that he was in foul trouble. Whoever was on Donovan Mitchell at the time was getting their ass cooked. Mitchell has a great handle of the ball, and sometimes it can be a little messy. His handle tightened up significantly in the past 2 games, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of the turnovers that Harden was having, dude, where he was just losing his dribble for no reason. Yeah, Mitchell was having those too. It was much tighter this game. It's been much tighter over the past 3 games for the life of me. Just the moves he's been hitting guys with. He had a crossover that literally had me thinking, oh, I think Hasard had a non-contact injury in there, and he still was called for a foul. It was truly something special. I don't think that my words can really express to you how just insane and how inferno hot he was. He was blazing hot that game. There is no, he was frigid in the first half, but he went nuclear in the second half. That being said, that's not going to happen every single game. If I'm Detroit, I can hang my head on this. The Cavs are a team that are undefeated at home in this postseason, but they have yet to win a single game on the road. If I'm Detroit, I can bounce back from this loss and think about the next game. I don't think Cade will be nearly as bad as he was this game. And I don't even think he'll be as bad as he was the previous game. The defense has tightened up, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are not just a team that was just consistently great on the defensive end. The blocks, you are the team that leads the league in blocks, right? You're the team that's led the postseason in blocks too. I don't expect for you guys to be out-blocked by the Cavaliers in the way that you were, because the Cavs finished the game with 10 or somewhere between 10 and 8 blocks, and you guys only had 1 at a certain point. That's likely not going to happen again, right? I've noticed something though. I think the games in more often where Jalen Duren is offensively active, the team does worse, which weird. I don't think the pick and roll worked at all last night for the Pistons. In the previous recording, I went more and I tried to do a series overview for the previous 2, but I need to talk about Wembanyama and the Spurs. Obviously, Wemby got ejected on Mother's Day, and quite frankly, it was very disappointing that he wasn't, that he got, I didn't think, let me just explain 3 things really quickly. 1, I saw the play, I immediately knew, oh, that's going to get upgraded, that could be upgraded to a flagrant 2 immediately, right? It met the criteria for a flagrant 2. I didn't think they would call it a flagrant 2 because it's Wemby, and I've been seeing what the Timberwolves, how they play defense and stuff. I could see how Wemby could get to that level and them not escalating it to a flagrant 2, right? But also, I'm thinking in my head, okay, if they're going to call the flagrant 2, they're probably going to have to suspend Wemby a couple of games because the elbow was dangerous. Don't get it twisted. But they didn't do that either. Also, the last time I had a video up on the channel, the draft had not happened. Let me really quickly recap who is where in the draft order. Got some winners like the Wizards and the Utah Jazz. They said they were just like they don't want tanking, and the Utah Jazz still got the 2nd overall pick, and it's just looking over like it looks to me like you're still rewarding tanking. So the Pacers, who were just a genuinely terrible team this year, lost their pick to the Clippers. So that sucks. The Grizzlies got a pick. I would think trading assets like that the way they did this season was, and for what many people would consider like not as worth the value. I think they got a lot more from the Desmond Bane trade that they probably should have gotten. But yeah, it doesn't seem like you're not rewarding tanking here. The Chicago Bulls, who did they get their pick from? I couldn't tell you, but they're the 4th pick overall, and I'm just looking over like, wow, Chicago. They also tanked this year. If you looked at their roster, that was tanking. The Nets have the 6th pick. They were tanking. The Kings are just a bad team. The Wizards and the Kings are just tremendously bad. But again, those are the 2 teams that I mentioned that weren't tanking this year. Tanking works. Tanking is good for the league. Look, as much as I love basketball, there's 82 games a season. Every team is not going to get covered. Every team is not going to get the same looks that every single team is. And as much as I want to talk about literally every single team, at a certain point in the season, you realize who is worth talking about and who isn't. Right? Milwaukee this year was not worth talking about. Miami this year was not worth talking about until like the tail end of the season and in the play-in games. And to be quite honest, when we did talk about Miami, it was Bam and the play-in games. That was it. We never talked about them the rest of the year. And that was with Tyler Hero being hurt most of the year. But we're used to that. We're numb to that. Did we need to talk about how great the Thunder were every single day of the year? No. Did we talk about it anyway because they were finding themselves in adversity? Yes. Yes. Was Golden State worth talking about after Jimmy's Achilles injury? No. No, not until the play-in. The Mavs were not worth talking about until you look at Cooper Flag. Like, there's so many teams across the league that are just not worth looking into deeper, because once you do go in deeper, you're like, oh, they suck for the reasons I think they should suck. Well, or, oh, well, when you're talking about a good team, it's easier to talk about a good team, really. A team that's just bad, like the Wizards, what did you want me to say about that? The Sacramento Kings, who are and the Wizards, who have been religiously bad for years, what do you want me to tell you about that? The Bulls going from mid to bad was actually something that was a positive development in my opinion, for them. That was cool. The Hornets got the 14th pick. I think a lot of us had been hyping the Hornets up over past the January 1st mark of the year, or this just started the year basically. And we had forgotten this team won less than 40 games. They stink. They made the play-in and got themselves embarrassed. Both games. And they won one of their games. They were embarrassed. They were set up to get the matchup we wanted. And they shit themselves. So there's that, I guess. Atlanta got the 8th pick, which I don't know how the fuck they got that. That's probably the Pelicans. I think that's the Pelicans pick. Another team that's just bad. Milwaukee's the 10th pick. I don't know what they can do for that, but hey, something. It's something to do when you are moving on. This is a pretty good draft class to have a good pick in. They were also tanking. They were trying to hold. I know for a fact that Giannis was healthy in some of those games and that they just didn't want to play him. They didn't want to damage their asset, and they also didn't want to raise their draft stock. There's no point at a certain point in the season. That's how Miami even wanted to end up in the play in the first place. It's not like Miami was trying to be good. All right, let's talk Wolves. So, who had Ant being as dominant as he's been with 2 different knee injuries on both knees. Did we expect that? No, I didn't. 33 in both games. He's been fucking crazy. The Wolves as a whole have been crazy, and both of these tied series, both of the East and West has a tied series, and the other one is a sweep. And I'm not gonna lie to you, everything about this is great. This has been a great postseason so far. I don't know what to say. I'm glad that they're going the way this is. Could you imagine if both of the Western teams had swept, higher seed Western teams had swept, and we were just sitting here like, well, they're doing their Western Conference Final thing, and we're looking at the East like, hey guys, do you want to wrap that up? Oh, we're working on it. Sometime today. Just Ant has been transcended. Ant is probably the best American player, and that's with the knee injuries. Ant. Wow, just I don't even know what to say. Like, Ant's just been really, really good, man. Is there something else in the basketball spirit that I think I need to talk about? I can do a little bit more of what the Wolves have been doing. Julius Randle's been flying under the weather for like just being as bad as he's been. I don't think I truly explained how bad he is. I looked it up last night, before the video. Not before the video, before the Thunder's game, because I wanted to talk about that. I don't think that people realize how bad he's been in these playoffs. And Julius Randle's not exactly the world's greatest playoff performer to begin with, but he's been bad. And if we get a day where there's no basketball games, I will be doing a list of the top 10 playoff underperformers this season, and Julius is going to be slightly higher than I think most people would know. All right. Julius, let's see. Mr. Randle has had a dog shit playoff run. And the website crashed. You know what? That's okay. I know what he's averaging in the postseason. He's averaging 17 points. And a reminder, they went against the Nuggets, and the Nuggets have a really, really bad defense. And Aaron Gordon did not play most of the series. And that was his primary matchup. The reason that was he was having struggles. 17 points. 17 points. He's averaging 17 points this playoff run. Mind you, they've needed a lot of offense, and they needed it to come from different people. And at no point in time did it come from Julius Randle. 17 points per game, 3.4 turnovers per game, which you don't have the usage to have this high of turnover rate. 7.3 rebounds, which is the lowest rebounds since. Well, not the lowest rebounds. I'll be fair. It's slightly more than he'd had the year prior, but why do you have less? Why do you have slightly more? There should be a lot more, considering the rebounding battle is between you, Jokic, and Gobert. And to be honest, Jokic is having problems with Gobert on him, so it should falter you to get those rebounds. The shooting percentages literally all across the board have been way worse, and he's not known as a shooter to begin with. So, yeah. Let me look at the regular season numbers just to make sure that I'm not tripping, because this is a very similar, well, not as bad as a drop off as what Brandon Ingram was doing, but it is pretty close. And also considering the context, it might be worse. It might just be worse. Also, let me know if y'all want me to like cover WNBA games, because I might, dog. If you see it, you might see it, man. I might cover those. That's because that season is starting up. But right now, yeah, Julius has just been bad, like really, really bad. They really need him to be better. And even in the games where like, let me check the games in the Spurs series, because I understand him. Yeah, let me just see those real quick. Let's see what he's doing. He's just fucking hurting his fucking averages. Holy shit. All of the games in San Antonio look like this. 12 points, 12 points, 12 points. And then this is the game where Wemby was ejected in the second half. 21 points. He is struggling against good defenders. He is struggling against bad defenders. He is just having a dog shit playoff run, man. It is been really hard to watch. Oh, no. Sorry, my bad. Incorrect. I read the numbers wrong. The game where he had 21 points, Wemby played the entire game, and that was the game where he had 12 blocks. When the defense is worse, he plays. When he's against a worse defense, he plays worse. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm confused. It's not making a lot of sense, dog. That series can go either way at this point. I didn't expect Ant to be this good and this healthy, and I don't know if Wemby. I don't think Wemby will get ejected, but the games where Wemby hasn't been ejected, they've been very close. Fox has just not performed at all. Harper has been lifting the production from the two of them, and Stephon Castle has also lifted production. Stephon is doing really what I expect of him, to be honest. Like that's just about right. I need more from you. I need more from you, De'Aaron Fox. I need more from you, Julius Randle. I don't know what you guys are doing. Please do something. Is there anyone else who oh, Champagne. Champagne's been, to be quite honest, Champagne needs Wemby to be good, and without Wemby, he's not that great. He's good when Wemby's on the court, but if he's not, yeah. Champagne looks like Champagne, dog. He looks like a role player that looks lost without their best player, dog. That's exactly who he is. Is there anyone else or anything else that I would think that I was remembering? Did you remember his middle name is Dion? You know what? Let's look over Julius Randle's nicknames before I end the video, because I saw those and I'm on Basketball Reference. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video so far. These are some fun facts we got about him. Nicknames are Beyblade. I don't know who's ever called him Beyblade, but I get it. I think it's a spin move. Orange Julius. Don't know where that came from. Don Julio. Big Jew. Can't say that one anymore, dog. King Julius. Black Panther, the Sergeant, and Goosebumps. I will be calling him any of these nicknames and referring to him in the future. Matter of fact, when I do the biggest playoff droppers video, I will be just referring to guys as nicknames, and I will not tell you who they are. You'll have to put together what they're doing based on the numbers and the nicknames. Yep, like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. I'm sorry, Tom. The Black Panther and King Julius got me fried. Goosebumps too, man. Have a good day.